TorahCafe.com.
Did you ever notice that music is a part of every aspect of our life? What is music? Where does it come from? Why is it so important to us? And what are its spiritual effects? You know, music has the unique ability to express the full range of human emotions and experience. When you go to the department store, they know exactly what songs to put on to get you in the mood of shopping. When you're watching a horror flick, they know exactly what notes to put together that's going to keep you on the edge of your seat. In the elevator, there's always that perfect background music. Music is a part of every aspect of our life, and there's a bit of music, a composition of music that fits with every emotion that we can possibly experience. You know, music is very ironic. Music transcends race, transcends religion, culture, or era, yet at the same time, there's nothing that better defines a race, religion, culture, or era than music. Music is also heavily connected with our deep memories. I have first-hand experience working with dementia patients or Alzheimer's patients who can barely remember their name. And then when they're sung a song from the synagogue, let's say, that they remember, with that tune and that emotion that deep down is still a part of them, not only are they able to mouth the words along with the person guiding them, but sometimes they're able to make other connections. I remember one time singing a song from Friday night. We sang Shalom Aleichem, which we all sing around the Friday night table. And after this person who had dementia, after we finished singing it, she said, "Good Shabbos." She made the association between this song and a Good Shabbos, meaning that deep down, that music touched a place that is beyond time and beyond all the limitations that can be put on a person. Rabbeinu Bachai and the Maharal of Prague write about 7 different wisdoms that act as gateways or doors to the divine. Meaning that these are wisdoms that are supplemental to Torah, that help a person understand Torah concepts better. For example, mathematics. Okay? It's a neutral subject, and if one understands math better, they'll be able to understand gematrias better, how words correspond with each other. If a person understands astronomy a little bit better, also a sort of neutral subject, one of the 7 wisdoms, you'll be able to understand. After all, a Jew, one of our mitzvahs is calculating the months, calculating the moon, so got to know a bit of astronomy, and the more you know, the more you'll be able to fit that aspect of the mitzvahs in Torah. And one of the wisdoms that's mentioned in the 7 is the wisdom of music. Now, we've learned in the past that everything in the natural order is based on the number 7. Whenever we think of the number 7, we think nature, the natural order of things. That's how it exists, number 1, in time. There's 7 days in a week. That's how it exists in place. There are 7 continents in the world. That's how it exists in light, in our vision. There's 7 colors, 7 of the rainbow, of the light spectrum. And even in sound, there are 7 notes on the music scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And then already at the next octave. The Chasam Sofer has a work where he delves into the meaning of music, and he says how each one of the notes actually correspond and make a person feel a certain way, that each one is connected with a certain emotion that we have. Rabbi Yisrael Madzitz discusses the connection between the 7 notes on the 7 notes between each octave and each emotion that we have, and corresponds them also to the 7 days of the week, and how they're each connected with the 7 emotional sfirot, the Kabbalistic ways in which Hashem expresses himself, and that we express ourselves to others. So each note, in a sense, has a corresponding emotional trait, can touch us in a different way. Jewish tradition is replete with song and music. One of the very first advances that are documented from humanity in the Torah, the beginning of the book of Genesis, is the advancement, the development of music. Which is interesting because anthropologists say that music was one of the first things that human beings developed as a group in order to sort of gather the clan. So it's interesting that also in the beginning of the Torah, one of the first developments that human beings had was the development of music. King David, author of the Psalms, the sweet singer of Israel, among other things that he did in his life, he was a great musician. When King Saul did not kill the king of Amalek as he was instructed to do, God sent the prophet Shmuel to tell him that the kingship is going to be taken away from him. Shmuel then anointed David, King David, in private, and it says that when that happened, the Spirit of God came upon David from then on. So the commentary is right. What does that mean that the Spirit of God came upon him? That all the musical writings that he had from that point on were done with divine inspiration and prophecy. One of the things that we know about King David is that he never slept a whole night. He would wake up in the middle of the night. And you know how he would wake up? He had a harp, David's harp, that was hanging over his bed. And every night a north wind would come through the window, play the harp, play the strings of the harp, the sound would emerge, and he would wake up. And he would use that time first to study, and then to compose music, to commune with God throughout the hours of the night. One of the things that's interesting, the fact that it meant that what awoke him was a north wind. In Hebrew, the word north is tzafon. Tzafon means north. It also means hidden. Tzafon means hidden. For example, in the Haggadah, if you look in the Haggadah, one of the last things we do of the Seder is we eat the afikomen. And the afikomen is called the tzafon because it's the thing that's hidden until the end. It's the hidden piece of the Seder. So tzafon also means hidden, meaning that this energy which awoke him at night, music, comes and touches the hidden subconscious of our soul. It comes from a hidden place, a very deep and spiritual place. When King Shaul was overcome by an evil spirit, it was suggested that he had music be played for him. Many times when people are depressed, right, they turn on the right music and it gets them out of their bad mood. It gets them fired up, pumped up. You don't want to hear what I listen to before we come to this class. Gotta get psyched up. Elisha, the prophet Elisha, when a musician played before him, it says that the hand of God came upon him and he was able to have prophecy. In fact, the mystics of all ages said that the music and the joy that comes from music is a catalyst for prophecy. So music plays a very, very important role and rich place in our tradition. The Targum Yonasan, in his commentary to the first verse of Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, says that there are 10 archetypal songs that were sung throughout Jewish history. 10 songs. Each one was written in a state of divine prophecy or inspiration. It came at a pivotal moment of transition, transformation, and revelation. They were sung by either great men or great women or the entire collective Jewish people. The Medrash says that the first one was sung by Adam. When was this song sung? After Cain had killed Abel. It says that after Cain killed Abel, God made a punishment for Cain, and that was that he become a wanderer. He's going to from now on be a wanderer. And Cain cried out. He said that the punishment was too hard. He didn't think that he could survive wandering and never having to feel that home place. So he did tshuva. He repented for the things that he did wrong. When he repented, so it says that God accepted the repentance and gave him a sign. And this sign was in order that no one would be able to harm him in his wanderings. The Slonim Rebbe says that sign, when it says a sign, it means that, what else is called a sign in our tradition? Shabbos. Shabbos is called a sign between us and God. So it says, what does it mean when it says that God placed a sign on him? God gave him the concept of Shabbos. Because he did tshuva, because Cain was sorry for what he did, he would have peace of mind on Shabbos. As soon as Adam saw this and saw the power of tshuva, he started singing Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos, a song that we sing every week, both Friday night and Shabbos day. The second song, the archetypal song that came with the Jewish people throughout our history, is the Song of the Sea. We read about it in last week's Torah portion. It was a song sung collectively by the Jewish people. Moses led the men in song. Miriam, his sister, led all the women in song as they crossed the sea. It says about that song that even the handmaiden, even a maid, saw greater revelations, experienced greater prophecy than Ezekiel did. The third archetypal song was sung by the entire Jewish people when they got water in the desert. The fourth song is one of the last parshas. It's the Parsha of Hazinu, which is a song that Moses sang at the end of his life, at the end of the Torah, that recounts the entire history of the world. And if you look deep into this song, this Parsha, the Ramban says that the history of every single individual who will ever live is contained within this song. Very deep. The fifth song, in the times of Joshua was able to stop the sun and the moon by singing their song. Sixth was the judge Devorah after the victory against Sisera. The seventh was Hannah, a great woman who for many years could not bear children. And then after she gave birth to the prophet Shmuel, she sang this song. Eighth song sung by King David after being delivered from his enemies and from Shaul. Ninth was the Song of Songs, Shir HaShirim, written by King Solomon after the temple was inaugurated. And the 10th song is a song that's yet to come. And this is the song that we will all sing together, all the exiles, when they return home to the Holy Land when Mashiach comes. So songs have accompanied us throughout our history as pure expressions of the soul. Even in the Common Era, after the biblical canon was closed, our sages composed piyutim, zmiros, all sorts of liturgical songs in order to arouse that spirit within us. The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, on his deathbed, before he passed away, called his disciples around and asked them to sing a special song. During this special song, he uttered a prayer and his soul left his body. The Baal Shem Tov, like all tzaddikim, lived their life, the song of their life, in a perfect harmony. So he experienced a life of perfect harmony and passed away with song. In the temple as well, song played a very key role. Music played a very key role in the spiritual experience of the temple. King David wrote 15 of the Psalms are called Song of Ascents. And that corresponds to the 15 steps that would be on the future temple, where the Levites would stand and sing their praises to God. Every day the Levites would sing a song corresponding to whatever day of the week that was. We still sing those songs today. The Mishnah in Sukkah says that every day of the year there were shofar blasts as well that would come from the temple. When people came with their first fruits, we have a mitzvah to bring our first fruits from the crop of our field. It was the experience of bringing the first fruits to the temple was accompanied with joyous music. So mitzvahs, the temple, our history, all accompanied with song and music. Prayer is very much connected with song. The word for prayer in Hebrew is shira. It means a song. We know that words in Hebrew that have a similar gematria, meaning that numerically they add up to the same number, they're oftentimes related. So the number that shira adds up to has the same numeric equivalent as the word tefillah, prayer. Song and prayer are interrelated. They're one interwoven tapestry of feeling and connection to God. Many people ask, how can God appreciate when we read from a prayer book? Not only that, but if I'm going to read the same prayers every day, doesn't God get bored of that? So we have to look at our prayer book as a composer or as a musician looks at his song sheet. When a professional musician will play Mozart violin concerto, he doesn't play the notes that he sees. What he does is he borrows the notes. He plays the song of his heart, and that expression is enclosed in Mozart's composed notes. He's not merely playing the song, he's playing his song expressed in the notes of Mozart. When we pray as well, it works the same way. We're not praying the words of the sages from 2,000 years ago. We're praying the words of our heart. We're praying the concerns of our heart. They're just being expressed and applied in the holy wording and text of our great sages. The song, the idea of song, has the ability, has the power to bind people to Hashem. Not only to bind people to Hashem, but to bind people to each other. We see this in holy terms, and we see this in not so holy terms sometimes. Let's stick with the holy. We play downstairs on the video, the Living Torah. It's constantly playing. So if you missed it, after the class, you can take a look. It's always playing. So you'll notice at the Hasidic gatherings, all the people, all the Hasidim, gather around the Rebbe, and interspersed between the Rebbe talking and teaching, we find many songs singing together. You think, what are they doing? Why are they singing together? Song has the power to unite people together and to unite people to God. One of the reasons that music and song are so connected with a wedding is because what greater time of unity between two people could there be? Many of the Hasidic songs are taken off from shepherds. Shepherds and very lonely people. They're out in the flock the whole day without really any people interactions. Why are they always singing songs? A human being by nature is social. Okay, he wants to be with other people. That's our nature. Anyone who tells you that they don't, they do. They just maybe didn't do it, don't have a good track record doing it successfully. They want it. We want it. So when they're alone, when these shepherds are alone, and when we're alone ourselves, these shepherds are longing to be with other people. Song reveals, when they're singing their songs, that reveals their humanity and their desire to be with others. One of the hallmarks of sound is the sound and the listener, right? If a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? A key aspect in sound is a sound and a listener. It works the same way with song. One of the hallmarks of song is that there's a singer and a listener. By the shepherd singing, okay, he creates the illusion for himself of not being alone anymore. So songs are powerful. Mitzvahs, Torah, our history, all connected with songs. Even the ability to connect with other people. You know, the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, is quoted as saying, if writing is the pen of the heart, then music is the pen of the soul. Music is very powerful. The Torah itself is compared to song. Aside from gematrias, we've learned that, when we have numbers that add up together, there's also other ways in which words or concepts can be related in the Torah. There's something called Kabbalistic permutations. That's when you take a word, and through breaking up the word into the letters and rearranging the letters, you could sometimes find a related concept within the same letters. So meaning you take one word, rearrange the letters to make a different word, and oftentimes those words are interconnected. So in Tikkunei Zohar, one of the epic Kabbalistic works, so takes the first word of the Torah. What's the first word of the Torah? Bereshit. And using the style of Kabbalistic permutations, rearranges the word Bereshit and changes it into Shirat Av, the song of the Father, the song of Hashem. The Torah is the means in which Hashem sung the world into existence. Even when we look and we examine and learn the text of the Torah, the deepest insights come from the music behind it. One way that we study the Torah, the most base, is through the letters. Next step up is the crowns on the letters. The lessons that we can learn from the crowns on the letters. The next step up is the lessons that we learn from the way that the word is vowelized. And the highest level and deepest level of what we can learn from the actual words of the Torah is the cantillation marks. What is being sung over here? That carries the true depth of the concept. There's a mysterious medrash called Perek Shira, which literally means the chapter of song. Its author is unclear. Some attribute it to King David, others to Solomon. Some attribute it to one of the sages of the Mishnah. Either way, it has a very holy source. And it records the song of every non-human kingdom in creation, meaning the inanimate, plant life, and animal life. And you could buy the book. It's accessible in any Judaica store. And within it are the verses of praise sung by each aspect of creation. Inanimate, plant, and animal. Not human. We have our own prayers. We have our own praises. But everything in creation is part of this praise. Every part of creation is singing in song together. Every part of creation is part of the cosmic symphony. The Arizal, probably the greatest Kabbalist of all time, says that everything in creation has a certain level of consciousness, albeit differing levels, but nevertheless, everything has a bit of consciousness. So every aspect, every part of creation, every kingdom that exists, is part of this collective song that the universe is singing. This is a big deal. Music's pretty special. We can even see from a scientific perspective the concept of music infused in all creation. Science describes the universe as being composed of atoms, molecules, elements. Right? Everything is part of that building block of creation. So the Kabbalists look at it in a very similar way and say that everything in the universe is composed of God's divine letters. That everything is being made of God's speech, rearranging itself and creating every bit of creation. So each letter is a divine influx of creative energy. Just as you look in a single cell, you see the entire DNA code. It can be found in virtually every cell in the body. So Kabbalah describes the spheros as existing in all manifestations of time and space. These secret codes of nature, like DNA, for example, are similar to the musical notes which every component of creation plays in the cosmic symphony. Everything's interconnected. Everything's part of the cosmic symphony. Music, at its most base level, is sound waves that are formed by various vibrations and frequencies. Waves, vibrations, and frequencies apply on a deeper level into nature, in the nature of material reality. Electromagnetism is one of the four forces of the universe, and it is consisting of waves. The intensity and frequency of the waves determines whether it will be manifest as light, or gamma waves, or microwaves, or infrared waves, all based on the frequency. All matter consists of waves on a microscopic or quantum level. The idea that all matter is really just waves vibrating in different frequencies helps give us the idea, helps give us a clearer idea of what it means that God sung the universe into existence, that everything's part of a cosmic symphony. Paul Davies was a famous English physicist, describes how atoms and their subatomic particles are compared to organ pipes. Organ pipes, based on the shape, it makes a certain note, right? So too, each atom is characterized according to its energy, vibration, or frequency, which he calls subatomic music. So we see, once again, the overlap between the Jewish mysticism and what scientists are just breaking the way on now. This whole idea of quantum physics, string theory. String theory, what's the whole idea about? The vibration of subatomic particles. Everything in creation is part of a song. The entire universe is one cosmic symphony. Coupled with this is the idea that the world exists in a 10-dimensional plane of existence. There's 10 dimensions to creation. Perhaps that shares a certain connection with the 10 spheros, the 10 utterances which created the universe, and the 10 archetypal songs that are part of human history. Hashem is the grand conductor orchestrating the grand symphony. Let's talk a little bit about the power of music. Because music, like anything else that is neutral, that last week we talked about laughter. We said that it could be the greatest thing in the world, or it can cause the most damage. Most of the things and that we have in our experience that are neutral, that can go one way or another, have tremendous power. And so when we use them for good, they can take us to the ultimate heights, but when used in the negative, can lower us to the ultimate depths. So music is very powerful. It has a lot of influence on a person as well. How does music affect us? Any ideas? how is it that music can affect us? It affects our mood, it affects our personality. How is that? You know, our whole body, if you look at the way our body works, our whole body flows in rhythm. Our heart beats, our blood flows, our cells are changed in a fixed order, our intestines moved in a fixed rhythm, our body beats to a certain rhythm. Rhythm in music is meant to imitate the rhythm of nature. Ideally, it will reflect the beauty of creation. Songs can be very uplifting because what's the rhythm that's being played, my body starts adjusting to the rhythm that I hear. Music resembles tangible spirituality of an active body without a body. So when one listens to music, he moves according to the rhythm. His rhythm, his personal rhythm, moves according to the rhythm of the music. So if that rhythm comes from a source which is contrary to godliness, then this alien rhythm gains jurisdiction and influence over the body and can taint the soul. Depends on what kind of music we're listening to. The sages have cautioned us against listening to certain songs or lyrics that come from impure places. There was a sage in Talmudic times who left everything, went completely off the derech. He was a very knowledgeable and great man, and through various things, because of various reasons, went completely off, became completely disassociated with Judaism and observance. His name was Elisha ben Abuya. His name was, his pseudonym is, they call him Acher, like he's outside, he's the other guy. So it says about him, the Gemara in the Chagiga says that Greek songs never left his lips. The songs of the Greeks. The Marsha says in that Gemara that this is what caused him to become a heretic. This music influenced him because the rhythm of this music, or the lyrics of this music, became a part of his being. It led him off the way, off the right path. The Mishnah Brura in the Sharet Tzion in the Hilchos Tisha B'Av quotes the Shlah, the Kabbalist, who writes that a person, when singing to their baby, they shouldn't sing certain inappropriate songs, certain non-Jewish songs. Why? Because it will instill upon the child a negative nature, a bad nature, just from the song. It says that anyone who guards, who treasures their soul should distance themselves and warn their household not to listen to certain types of music. Not certain tunes, and certainly not certain lyrics. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, in his Likutei Eitzos, says the way to connect two different things is through melody, as we learned. Even a person who's distant from God, so to speak, can always be awakened through music. However, don't listen to the melodies of the immoral musicians who are prevalent these days, and this is 200 years ago, because it can do much harm. I think our music has degraded several steps since the times of Rabbi Nachman. In Jewish law, it's actually forbidden to listen to music that have lyrics that are antithetical to Torah. If a person, especially if they're connected with idolatry, listening to music as beautiful as it may be of a religion that worships idols, instills a very negative energy and is forbidden for a Jew. Because especially since the words get embedded in our mind, they get embedded in our brain, they become a part of our rhythm, and it affects the person. The Rebbeim of Chabad, the Mittel Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab, the Rebbe Rayatz, all wrote extensively on the power, not even of the words, but just of the tunes. That the tune themselves, if it's coming from an impure place, If the writer, the composer, the musician who's expressing this song, remember, song comes from the depths of the soul. And by you listening to it, you're opening up your soul to let this energy, this spiritual force in. You have to choose, we have to choose who we want to be in sync with. Who I'm going to open myself to. You lock your doors to your house? You lock your car? You lock everything that's valuable to you? How about your soul? We can't just leave our souls wide open that any influence, and this doesn't go just for music. We have to be very careful about what we see. Not to go and look in the wrong places. Music may even play a deeper part. Because when I see something, okay, at the end of the day, I can stop seeing it. But music oftentimes gets embedded in our head. And when we least expect it, that song just, I can't get this song out of my head. Right? Music's very deep. Very few people are moved when they see a work of art. But many are moved when they hear music. Just because you feel moved by a song doesn't mean that it's a spiritual or holy song. There's many things in our life that we have an emotional reaction to, that we love, that we feel moved by, that don't come from holy places. So we have to gear in our own lives, each one according to their own level and according to their own growth rate, what we're allowing our soul to be exposed to. A few months ago, very recently, in Scientific American, in the October issue, a psychologist named Annette Shermer talked about music coordinates behavior and thinking of a person. So even scientifically, music has an effect both on the behavior of people and the way people think. Look at different places and the music that's associated with them. Think about different bars and clubs and the music that's being played there. And certain types of concerts. I'm not talking about a cello concert. I'm talking about certain concerts, certain genres of music. Look at the energy. Look at what takes place at these concerts. Look what takes place in these bars. Certain music have associated with it an energy that just cannot be uplifted. It all depends on the source. Who's singing it? Who composed it? Where does this music come from? Part of our life mission is to find our song. And that doesn't mean keep flipping the radio station until we find one that we really like. It means that we have to get ourselves in line with the cosmic symphony. So how does a person do that? We're all one note or one instrument in the cosmic symphony. And we said that music and this harmony exists in every aspect of creation. In nature, in the universe, but also as Jews within the own confines of our religion. Prayer is connected with music. Learning Torah is connected with music. All aspects of a religion connected with music. In order for a person to develop and find how to tune their own instrument, so that they fit in the cosmic symphony of creation, a person has to invest more time and energy learning about and exposing themselves to the depths of this cosmic symphony. That's through learning Torah, prayer. There's nothing that stands out more than when you go to a concert, let's say. I'm talking about like a classical music concert, and one of the clarinets squeaks. You're just like, oh, that guy just ruined the whole thing, ruined the whole night. Right? What could be worse than having, the trumpet section is out of tune? We have to make sure that our life here is in tune with the rest of creation, is in tune with our purpose. And the way that we discover our purpose and we discover our mission, we discover our being in tune, is through learning and praying. Each person who ever lived has a job in this world that only they can do. You can only play your note. You can only sing your song. No one else who ever lived or ever will live, will be able to do what you can do and what you are supposed to do in this world. So we have to make sure we're attuned with the mission. We have to make sure that we're attuned with the cosmic symphony. May it be Hashem's will that each of us, through attuning our instruments just a little bit more, we should merit, like it says in Tehillim, like it says in the book of Psalms, that we will sing to Hashem a new song when Mashiach comes speedily in our days.